How did I get started in this industry? It's a long story. The simple story is I did stained glass as a hobby and did it for part of my art degree at Texas Tech and then at Baylor. Started by making sun catchers, and that eventually morphed into doing windows and restoration work. Well, we have 7 children, and 3 girls and 4 boys, and each one of them grew up in the business, and each one of them worked in the glass shop at one point or another, just doing their own thing. Some kids would go out and play basketball. My kids would come hang out in the glass shop and work with their hands. We're makers, first and foremost. I'm a designer. If you can imagine it, we can make it. And we do everything from restoring historic stained glass windows to building furniture now. It's a question that we ask ourselves a lot, is what do we do? And it's pretty much anything that involves the creative arts. We not too long ago worked on the McLennan Community College Arts and Science building, where we were commissioned to design and make a DNA sculpture. And this 36-foot long sculpture is made of both glass and metal. And you know, that was significant for us that this sculpture hangs there now, and it opened up the door for us to do the Baylor Homecoming flame. We have taken our sculpting to another level in doing light fixtures for restaurants and hotels and the hospitality trade. And these 3-dimensional light fixtures incorporate both steel and glass. We're also doing that for residents now, making chandeliers out of glass and metal. You know, a lot of our work comes from people saying, we have a design idea, or we have an area that we don't know what we want to do with it. And they come to us pretty much seeking some design direction, some creativity. A lot of my work comes from collaborating with architects and interior designers. We have a collaborative spirit here at the shop where people come in and we discuss ideas and we kind of pitch them back and forth. And from that, ideas grow and become tangible items, like the green door at 714 Lofts. You know, the entire wall there that we did just came out of a conversation with Grant Dudley and myself. What if we commemorated the tornado that 1953 that wiped out downtown and built this wall that looked like it was a remnant of that tornado? How would that look? And how would it look if we took a Art Deco door from Paris, France, and reproduced it in this wall? You know, what would that do? Well, it became the most photographed spot in Waco before the silos came along. After we've designed a stained glass window or a cabinet job or a door or whatever we're making, it goes into production. And I sit down with the craftsperson that's working on it, and we discuss how I see the project being done, what I envision for it. And from there, we select either the wood or the glass for that project. And from there, that one person works on that project from beginning to end. A simple project can take a couple of days to produce. Some projects can take months, you know. Other projects may take up to a year to produce. It depends on the complexity of it. The life expectancy of a typical stained glass window in Texas is 75 to 100 years old. Before the lead came, and it's called cane, not cane, the lead starts to deteriorate at about 75 to 100 years to where it's weakened to the point where it does not hold the weight of the window, and it starts to deflect. It starts getting little bows or bellies in the window. When that happens, the pressure of the deflection breaks pieces of glass. When you have a hand-painted window, you don't want to see a hand or a face crack. Here in Texas, with severe weather, some windows are damaged by hail, some are damaged by wind. That's when they call us in to look at restoration of a window, when the lead starts failing in the window. To restore a window, typically we do our research on the church, especially if it's a historic building. We go and we document the windows in place. We make notation of the damage that's been done to the window. Then we remove the stained glass from the building. We board up the windows and we bring the windows back to our studio. Each panel is put onto an easel and photographed. Again, all the damage to the window is notated during this documentation process. We then lay the window on our benches. We wet the windows down so that there's no dust. And then we unzip the windows. We take the lead came out and separate the glass from the lead. Each piece of glass is cleaned. If it's cracked, it's mended. And that mending could be anything from a copper foil line to edge gluing. It's just a determination between the church and ourselves how they want that done. After that, the window is reassembled, put back together the way it was originally. We grout the window and reinstall it back into the church.
This is the hand of one particular window that came to us looking like this. Now I'm going to turn the light on here, okay? Okay, and you can see that the paint, the brown tannish paint here, this is skin tone, has been worn off of this piece of glass down to clear glass practically. And that was probably due to the fact that these windows were made, again, at least 100 years ago, and they didn't fire this glass hot enough for the paint to be completely absorbed into the surface of the glass, and over the course of 100 years, it got worn away. So what we have to do is duplicate these hands to make them look much more like the original might have looked. And here's our attempt at getting them as close as we can to the original.
For years, we had a glass blowing studio that I started, and I could never get my boys interested in it until I took and gave them my blow your own Christmas tree ornament business. Now they've made it their own, and so that's something that my sons run. My son Jordan is the gaffer that blows the glass, and every fall we open up our studio to people coming, and it starts out with blow your own pumpkin. And people come, make appointments, and they end up blowing a glass pumpkin in the studio that they can take home with them. Then as it gets towards Christmas, we do blow your own Christmas tree ornament. And blowing your own Christmas tree ornament is a big success. It's so popular that we turn people away every year. When we complete a project, it's a sense of satisfaction. A lot of relief too, that, you know, we've put so much of ourselves into a project, because everything that we do is handmade. I mean, from drawing the design to building the product, it's all handmade. And so when we deliver our project, put it in the window or install a front door on somebody's house, it's a sense of satisfaction and also a sense of relief to have finished something, crossed the finish line. You start and there's an end, and that's a sense of completion.